So if we're going to say something nice, we should definitely talk about Will Fuller. I mean, he was great on Saturday. He he caught the big touchdown that we talked about. He had the two other great touchdown catches. He's just fun to watch. He's fast. I don't know. He looks good out there. I don't know how to describe him. I mean, every week, every week he's enjoyable.
Will Fuller's my boy, and I love him. This is what I want. So I've never heard a 40 time for him, which is weird because people who are fast like him, that's everyone's favorite thing to say. It's like, oh, Will Fuller, he's got 4.3 40 speed. They never say it. It's almost like he refuses to be tested.
Maybe he's slow.
So this is maybe, who knows? So this is what I propose. Maybe he's just not like a good racer.
Right.
You know, like maybe he's just not one of those guys that's like, oh, let's get on the line and race. So this is what I propose. During the combine at his 40, when he starts his run for the 40, simultaneously a quarterback throws the ball over his head and Will Fuller has to go track it down. And I think he'll run like a 3.9 40.
I like it. That's a great idea. All right.
He's that.
So real quick, we saw what happened against Pitt. This week it's Notre Dame, Wake Forest. What are you thinking? Wake Forest. What was one of the fun things we saw? They beat Boston College 3-0.
They beat Boston College 3-0. Yeah. Did people pay to go to that game?
They couldn't. They couldn't.
Yeah, they're not good. I mean, I don't want to go into it too much.
No, it's kind of almost a waste of time.
Yeah, they don't really. They don't run the ball very well. They're like 112th in total offense. They're just not. It's not
their victories are Elon, Boston College, and that 3-0 barn burner, and Army. So, I mean, ugh.
Their leading rusher is their one of their quarterbacks that they play.
One of their quarterbacks. Ouch.
They played two quarterbacks. I think they got like the two quarterback thing going on. He averages 40 yards a game. So, yeah.
All right, so our good friends in Las Vegas have this at, let's see if it moved since I left before we started. That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. They have it at Notre Dame minus 27.5.
Oh,
that's a lot.
27.5. Senior day. I tell you what, I want you to give me the points.
You given?
No. I'm going to give the points. I don't want the points.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Notre Dame covers basically.
Yeah, that's what that means.
By the way, I want credit. I correctly called the Notre Dame Pitt, like just the way the game would go. And I had it's a week in advance. I didn't even have a week to think about it. I said Notre Dame was going to handle Pitt, and they did. And most people, Notre Dame in the last 6 years, previous, they had been 3-3, and every game had been close, within a touchdown at least. So I want credit. Credit.
Now you're gonna have it. So I'm gonna take the points just to be a contrarian. So we're not always agreeing. And speaking of another game that you pretty much called correctly, USC Arizona. It was a tight one. It was a tight one.
It didn't start very fortuitous for you, Michael.
It sure didn't. I actually, all truth be told, I was at another wedding. Apparently I'm a very popular person, and it's wedding season. So I did not get to watch the game live. Though it was a family wedding, and we're all USC fans. So everyone was watching on their phones and sneaking away to the restaurant to get glimpses here and there. So that was kind of fun. Um,
I saw every snap.
it was I watched it this morning, so I am up to date on the images. And oh man, it was rough seeing 14-0, and then what was it, 17-7, and I was not happy for a very long time. Um, you know what I think started to happen, and
Hmm.
I'm not sure if I was watching correctly or how good the old eyesight is, and I think the stats back me up a little bit. They were they were doing what I said they might start doing, throwing a little too much. I mean, they only ended with 40 rush attempts, and a couple of those are sacks because it's college football. So that's not the 45-50 that we were after. And I think after the first quarter, it was like let's say like seven. It was like 10 rushing attempts, but like three of them were sacks. It just wasn't. It didn't start out strong, and then Rojo 2.0 had his big
Oh,
run, his big runs, and the rest is history. But man, it was I was worried. I was worried, and I don't like what I saw. Uh, I like some of what I saw, but the sneaking suspicion of too much passing is, I think, may come to bear witness.
it was very interesting. I mean, I didn't like. I don't know. Like, I didn't think that they were. I didn't feel like it was too much passing. It's just that like in the beginning they were so kind of disjointed that like they couldn't really like they weren't on the field enough
That is true.
to
In the first
really.
quarter, they definitely weren't on the field that much.
Yeah, so it's like they just couldn't get like a rhythm. Like I feel like they wanted to mix in the run a little bit more, but they couldn't get first downs. And they were pressuring Kessler a little bit. I mean, it was just a slow start. And it's like, the way Arizona started, it's like, oh, they might put up 50.
Yeah, they were on
But I
fire.
mean, you figure,
Thank God their offensive line's terrible.
well, you figure, I mean, they're 5-4 for a reason, so, um, it's just their inconsistent play just caught up with them a little bit. And that's what happens when you have, the style of offense that they play. Like you can get, it's like streak shooter, in basketball. Like, yeah, you get in a good rhythm and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that guy might never miss. And then he misses a couple and it's like, whoa, this doesn't look so good. So, um, you know,
Well,
SC, to their credit, they stayed the course and, eventually the better team, the cream rose to the top.
according to the only person that SC fans hate more than Petros Papadakis, Scott Wolf, uh, USC ran the ball 26 times to 32 times going into to 32 throws going into the third quarter.
26-32.
Yeah,
I mean, that's almost 50-50.
almost, but it should be more runs than passes. But whatever, they won. They won. I can't. I shouldn't nitpick. I shouldn't be Debbie Downer here. We all got to stay positive. If everyone on this podcast wants USC to win, Notre Dame needs it.
Yeah.
But
I was
okay,
like, man, they're gonna
let's
mess
go.
this up.
Let's go to a positive. And
Okay.
Juju Smith-Schuster is just the greatest. I mean, he's so good. He's got a busted hand. I didn't even want him to play, and I just worry about him. But I don't think he's human, so it might have been okay. He has a busted hand, and he's getting hit. He's catching. It's got to hurt so bad to be a receiver with a broken hand that has like stitches and a cut, or I don't even know what's going on. They catch footballs. I just I just don't understand how a human could do that. It's just
He seems
it's unbelievable.
he seems like a very angry
He
person.
really does. He is.
He's always
He's
like
almost on that Steve Smith level of like,
he
let's just fight
is.
people.
He's always like yelling and gesturing and like every game is just like so personal. Like they personally did something to him.
Well, he fought Isaac Whitney in like after the what was the first game, Arkansas State game. I think they had like a fight in practice. And then what you see when they late hit Justin Davis in the first quarter, It wasn't even that bad of a late hit. He just kind of threw him to the ground as they were going out of bounds.
Yeah.
First guy over.
First,
In the Arizona sideline.
First guy over, and he started on the opposite sideline. He's just,
with a
man.
broken hand.
Like, I'm all about it. Like, he's a big dude, so like that's not the type of person you like want like honorary like that.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, no, he's good.
And the one he dropped around the goal line. He didn't drop, I guess, but I guess they said he was trying to catch balls with his fingers, not his hands. So I think that's why it kind of sailed over his head. And Kessler threw it a little high, so that's why it sailed over his head.
He's doing push-ups right now because he dropped that pass.
He's so mad at himself.
Right now, he's doing push-ups.
He's like, I don't deserve the Schuster at the end of my last name. I'm going back to Smith. Just angry.
His long touchdown was a really big play, though.
Yeah, that it was right after the interception and bang, touchdown. Without that, I don't even know what happens.
It was so Will Fuller of him.
It was very Will Fuller of him.
See what I did there?
I enjoyed it.
I brought it back to Will Fuller.
I think it's fun that the two best wide receivers in college are on the two teams we talk about. It's a nice little bonus that we have.
That Baylor kid is pretty good.
Big 12. Big 12 doesn't count.
Yeah, they don't. They play a different way.
I don't know what they're doing out there. But yeah, I mean, they looked okay. The defense looked all right, but well, sometimes the defensive line looked better than normal, but the DBs looked worse than usual. So I'm not sure how to compute that in my head. Like, does that mean they played worse? They played the same? They played better? I don't know.
Poor Iman Marshall. He's just like the whipping boy for the USC defense.
He really is. Like, he looks sad sometimes.
He's just like and like he's always competing, and like he competes so hard, and then the flag's already out. Like, whenever they throw the ball towards his side, like the ref just like puts his hand on his flag and just waits.
Let's get this freshman.
And poor Marshall, like he just like looks up and there's a flag and he's just looking at them like what?
Again?
Like what? Like what did I do that time? Like he's just so sad. And every time, like and the bad thing is like, so every time these guys, they throw the ball to their side and it's incomplete, they always do this thing where they like with their hands like no, like incomplete.
Yeah, incomplete
like,
signal.
throw it to me. And he can't do that because every time it's like there's a penalty. So like he's always like looking around. He can't really celebrate, and then he tries to celebrate after the fact, and it's always kind of just like everyone's moved on and they're moving on to a different play.
And he got beat on the early touchdown. It's just
yeah, he did.
But I mean, that's probably because he was worried about using his hands.
Yeah, like now it's like he's like, I don't know how to play anymore.
Imagine how good of a cover corner he'll be though in 3 years. after years of this.
Absolutely.
I like him. I still back him.
You should back him.
I like that he's physical. I mean, it's not like they're bad penalties. He's just playing tight coverage. It's not like he's yanking guys who beat him. They're usually just tight coverage penalties, and the refs are being jerks.
You know what I really enjoyed too was we got to see our weekly Adoree Jackson runs to the flat and no one covers him. It's really
it was so good. It was so good. It's just so bizarre. It's like, hey guys, he's the best player. Don't you have someone locked up on him at all times? Or not the best player,
but great because it's like it's not even scheme. Like they put him in the backfield and then they set him to the flat, and there's no one within 20 yards of him.
The defenses just must get confused. They're like, oh, now he's over here. They put someone in motion first, and then it's like, oh wait, who does what? Huh?
The best part is like, so everyone, it's like not just the defense, but like everyone in the stadium when he comes in is watching him.
What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
Flat. No, but when he runs to the flat, Kessler goes to throw, and the whole crowd just starts cheering. because they're not covering him again, and he's about to run for, he's about to run to Santa Monica, and like they just don't cover him, and so the crowd is cheering before he even catches it. It's just great, and I love it every single time. It happens once a week.
He did only have he went 4 for 45, and the long one was 42 yards. So I mean, not
It couldn't have been 42.
that's a lot. It's just long,
It
42.
seemed like it was longer than that.
I think they were close. I think they were closer than you think was the problem.
That might be correct.
But
Man, it was awesome, though. I just love it every single time.
wide open, boom.
Oh yeah.
Trey Madden, I'm not sure what happened to him. He fumbled, and I never saw him again. But whatever.
I'll tell you what happened to him. I'll tell you what happened to him is Rojo 2.0 happened to him.
Yeah, that might have been.
And Tim was talking to me this morning about like how they don't give it to him enough. And Justin Davis he's nothing to sneeze at. Like he's good.
We had this conversation last week. I think it's whoever's hot between Davis and Trey Madden, and then it's a 2-back system, and that's one of the backs, and then Rojo's the other one.
He's good. Justin Davis is good. I like.
Yeah,
I like the way he runs.
He runs hard. He can catch the ball. He can do it all.
Yeah.
you know what killed me? When they brought their stupid fullback in, and they motioned him out to be a wide receiver, and then he drops the ball, hits him in the chest, and
That's right.
They give him so much run, and like I love fullbacks. I truly do. I know we make a lot of fullback jokes here, but I get it. Like you want to run the ball, you use a fullback, cool. But you have all these running backs who could do that.
He's been on the team for about 7 years, and he's always doing like that one little thing that you shouldn't do. Like he's the one who hit the late hit out of bounds on, it was like a punt return or something, when like he took out their whole bench. And it's like he's one of those guys, like he's running so fast, it's like he can't stop.
He's out of control.
Yeah. And I mean, bless him. He tries, but he's just like a runaway tank. He just can't do anything. And it's like, of course, his hands. So like you talked about his hands, the drop, right? The drop he had.
Yeah, the drop.
He was the one in 2012 on 4th down when they rolled out and Wittick threw the ball to him in the flat, and he was wide open for a touchdown, but it's like he had to dive for it, and the chances of him catching that kind of pass just are between 0% and 0.1%. And of course, it ate him up, and the ball ended up on the ground, and Notre Dame had the goal line stand and went on to play for the national title and get beat all over the field. But so like he's always been that way.
I just don't get it. I just don't get, why would you ever split him wide?
In 2012,
and then throw the ball to him.
In 2012, in his redshirt senior season.
I thought for sure they were running a screen. When I saw 38 trot out to the light side of the field, I'm like, oh, here comes a screen. They just needed a blocker. Nope.
I'm thinking of someone different.
We could. I'm trying. Pinner?
I'm thinking of 31. Fanuku.
Oh, there was some thing going around about 2 weeks ago in the SC world about how he needs to be on the field more, and when he's on the field, big plays happen. And all I just think is, if he's on the field, that means someone good isn't on the field. Like, sorry, I get it. He's good in punt coverage.
Big plays happen when he's on the field.
He's the guy who against 2 weeks ago when he almost didn't score on the goal line on 4th and 1.
He jumped over the top.
He jumped over the top. Get out of here.
Fullback should never jump over the top.
By big play, you mean someone almost blowing the whole game? Yeah, I guess.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I just can't stand it. There's too many good players on this team for those two guys that get that much run. Our guy Cam Smith didn't have a very good game.
No.
No. He's getting tired. He's 18 years old, you know? Stu Cravens had a good one, as always.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
He's very good at football.
He is.
I'm trying to think. What else happened? For being so close, they kind of pulled away with it at the end, and that was nice. Rojo 2.0 beat Lendell White's freshman rushing record. So that's something to, a feather in his little cap. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So let's see. SC has Colorado this weekend.
Ugh.
That should Colorado's frisky for about a quarter and a half.
That's another game we shouldn't talk about. Although, who did they almost beat? It
was 2 weeks ago, I think. They almost beat. Was it Oregon? Was it Oregon?
No?
What, UCLA? Yeah, it was UCLA.
Was it Oregon?
No, it was UCLA.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain it was close.
Who did UCLA just beat up on?
Oregon State. It was like their first road shutout in ages.
Colorado.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Colorado. UCLA was a close one. And then, but I mean, that's good. They got the close one out of the way, so USC, Colorado should be fine. Let's see what our good friends in Las Vegas think.
Where is the game?
That's a great question. Oh, here we go. All right, there we go. Updated odds. Southern Cal, I believe, at Colorado.
Yeah.
-16. USC's -16.
What?
This road game.
That's a little.
Colorado's frisky. If they
They're frisky.
They're frisky. They're not gonna win. Famous last words. But I'd give those points. I like the Trojans. I like what's going on. Yeah. Juju Smith will have another week for his hand to heal.
They got waxed by Stanford. They lost by 7 to Arizona, 17 to Oregon. Huh. I'm going to give the points
as well.
Yeah, SC's going to cover this game for sure.
So really, what really matters though is Utah, and they are at Arizona, and we saw Arizona can score. Maybe this is the one.
Any team that's confident is a threat to Utah. Any team that's confident is a threat to USC as well. So
that's true.
But yeah, any team like Arizona and UCLA, like Utah's in harm's way there.
This is true. So let's see. So the AP poll came out tonight. Since we do this on Sunday, Notre Dame was 6.
Did.
Is that right? Did I get that right? If memory serves?
They're 6 in the coaches and the AP.
Yeah. Let's see. Alabama was 3. Ohio State 2. Clemson 1. USC not ranked yet. Come on, coaches. That was a big win. Big win by Navy for Notre Dame.
That was a big win. I loved it.
They're ranked now.
That was a total validation of just. Look, dude, that's on the road against number 13. Like that night. That's a big game for Memphis, and they waxed them.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't close. The kid didn't break the NCAA rushing touchdown record though. He's still tied with Monty Ball.
Welcome to the option, Memphis. We've been saying it forever. It sucks.
Stanford 7. So that's good for Notre Dame too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get too excited, like especially like the playoff poll.
Who knows?
Change it. They could just change it like whenever they want. Like
it is really weird how that goes.
We're talking about how Oklahoma State now could be like above Notre Dame. Like they could jump Notre Dame and go to 4, which is fine. Like whatever, I don't care. But it's like yeah, we're gonna go from they're gonna beat the 8 team, and it's like okay, you went from 14 to 4th. It's like what? It's like they can just
do what we want.
Like last year, TCU went from 3 to 6. They won by 60.
Yeah. Well, we just felt that the other team.
Yeah, we just felt like it. So I mean, there's not really any point in talking about it. Teams need to just start losing. If Michigan State lost, and that's great.
Oh man, because I taped the game, it's the SC game started for me with the end of the Michigan State and Nebraska game, so that was kind of exciting.
Oh, fun!
That was an unexpected treat in the morning.
Yeah.
To watch a cornerback not push someone out of bounds.
That was not great. Michigan State's been trying to lose though.
That's true.
They finally got it done, so good for them.
Good for them.
Finally managed to lose the game. What did I want to talk about? Oh, so I thought it was one of the better parts of the SC telecast.
Mm-hmm.
As I was laying in bed trying not to fall asleep. So Rod Gilmore. I don't know if I told you. Oh no, I told Tim. So Rod Gilmore is the color guy. He's calling the game with his the play-by-play guy.
Right.
And they put up the graphic. I don't know if you saw this. They put up the graphic of the top 10 from the playoff poll.
Okay.
And Rod Gilmore, with his little telestrator thing, he writes in Memphis. And he's like, I want to put in Memphis because they were underrepresented in this poll, and they're undefeated, and so I feel like they deserve to be in the top 10.
This is after they lost?
This is way after. So I sent him a tweet. That said, FYI, Memphis lost by 25 at home
earlier in the day
to Navy today, so not sure they're in the top 10.
He did not respond to your tweet?
He absolutely did. And he said, that's not what I said. I said they were underrepresented. I was like, okay, you're lying, for one.
Why would he even say that?
For two, though, like, why would you say they're underrepresented after they lost by 4 touchdowns at home?
I know.
To an unranked team. Like, what?
So that means they were represented properly if they lost.
They were really disrespected there. What a goof.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I love ESPN commentators. They're great.
They are. There's something special.
It's like Chris Spielman in the Notre Dame game.
Yeah, Chris Spielman in the Notre Dame game.
The Pitt guy gets called for holding. Yeah, the Pitt guy gets called for holding, and he's like, I don't know if that's holding. I mean, he's got his jersey, but it's inside the frame, so it's like it's not outside the pad. So I don't know. That's a play on for me. And I was like, oh, good. So holding's okay, just as long as it's not, on the outside of the outside of the shoulder pad.
As long as it's not super obvious, yeah. you can't really tell.
Other penalties are okay, just as long as, yeah. It's like you can hold, but just don't hold on the outside.
You think he'd hate holding being a defensive player? You think he'd be like, "That's holding every time."
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. Any other fun news and notes for old Notre Dame or USC?
Fun news and notes. I don't think I have any.
I don't think I saw anything going around the interwebs either. No news of Torrey Hunter playing more corner, but you never know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like normally that sort of thing you get wind of it, but no. Somebody
tweeted. I don't remember who it was. Somebody did tweet that, like they heard about it. That was happening in practice.
Well, I saw after the fact. It's like, oh yeah, they've been working on this for 3 weeks.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I just heard it was.
And it's like, dude, Notre Dame's got like 75 beat writers. Like, what? None of them. It's like, were they sworn to secrecy or something?
Like, this is a fun story. Guys,
yeah,
switching positions is fun.
it's like the defensive secondary has been an issue like all year, and it's like now we have slot receivers playing nickel. It's like, Nolan, you don't want to talk about that? Oh, okay, cool.
That's not important? Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, one thing that did hit me about USC while I was watching the game is Cody Kessler. He's number 6. And not too long ago, there was another number 6. And that's the Sanchez.
The Sanchez.
And I feel like he should have gone. Like, it's a pretty famous USC player. And I feel like he could have gone with another number. Like, if he really wants to have his legacy stick, he could have gone like 8 or 16 or something. Like there was another number for him. I don't know why that hit me. Like I said, when I watched the games in the morning.
In his defense, though, like I've never made that connection.
Really? Oh, yeah. For some reason, it hit me today, and I was like,
I will say though, like speaking of the franchise, I was watching the Dallas-Philadelphia game today, and he was sporting like this, like totally hipster haircut, and I was like, man, get your life in order, bro. Like he's just like, get your priorities going. Like with his, like he had the fresh, like comb over, and it was like it was something Justin Bieber would have, or something.
Maybe you're just not hip, Greg. Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe I'm not, but you know what? Like he needs to like more like focusing on playing quarterback, less going supercuts.
I think Brian Cushing has the same haircut.
That doesn't make it better. Like that did not help.
My bad.
That did not help.
But yeah, that one came across my mind in the news. Cody Kessler, okay. Pick a better number. on that note, let's see. We got to do our. If you enjoy the podcast, subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a review. Also, if you enjoy NFL football, the Tim we mentioned does an NFL podcast with another colleague of ours, Justin. So Tim and Justin do an NFL podcast.
The tiltinground NFL podcast.
Tiltinground NFL podcast. That is on iTunes as well. So you could.
That is such a clever name.
I know. I know. So if you search tiltinground, both our podcasts come up. We got to thank Mash and Flutter for the song. Greg, what's your Twitter?
At Greg2126. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tweet as much. The wife was out of town this weekend. So
you were on fire this weekend.
I was on fire.
The Notre Dame Twitter account thing. No, it wasn't official Notre Dame, but the Notre Dame fan page tweeted you back.
Oh,
or retweeted you. That was a good one. Or no, they mentioned you, which is even better than a retweet.
Boom.
Yeah, you got mentioned out there. I was tweeting as well, but mine was about bacon. So I thought, since I talk about my Twitter too, I might as well beef it up for you guys. So I'm Michael Muto on Twitter. There's Tilting Ground at Twitter. That always has all the podcast information or what's going on the website or what new and fun things we're doing next. I think I got it all this time. Thank you for listening, and fight on.
Go Irish!